Hello everyone and happy Earth Day. Normally at the library around Earth Day, we hold a DIY rain barrel workshop. Obviously during this time we are not going to be able to do that in person, but I did want to create some sort of tutorial to share with you so that you would have the information to make the rain barrel if you wanted to. So you might be asking why you would want to make a rain barrel or why you would want to collect rainwater in general. And the reasons are various, but one of the reasons that I wanted to do it is because it's economical. Here's a little quiz for you to consider. The average American household uses what percentage of its water use for outside purposes? And just so you know, a family of four uses approximately 400 gallons of water a day, and 30% of that usage is for outdoor use. So if you can collect some rainwater to water your garden and water your flowers, that would definitely save on water usage and the costs that are associated with that. Another question you might be asking too is, why would I want to make a rain barrel when I can just go to the home improvement store and buy one? And that is true, but as you can see, those are quite costly. This one is showing that it costs $89 for this one, and it looks nice. You can get it in different colors and everything. And then this one is $100, and it's also very nice looking, and it comes with a diverter kit, and it's got a flat back so it goes right up against your house, and it has a planter that you can plant flowers and make it look pretty. But they are expensive, and in this little workshop I'm going to show you how you can make one that is affordable. And just as a reminder, when you get your rain barrel made and you're collecting water, please remember that the rainwater that you are collecting is not drinkable for people or for your pets. This is an example of a basic rain barrel that we build in the workshops. We're going to talk about where you can get a barrel and options for a barrel in a little while, but I wanted to show you this basic rain barrel right now. This barrel is white and it's sort of opaque. If you can get a blue barrel, that is actually better, or a solid, not opaque barrel, because the barrels tend to grow algae if the sun can get through. So if you can find those blue barrels, that would work great, or some barrel that is not opaque like this one. This one isn't ideal, but sometimes you just have to work with what you can get. So the basic rain barrel has three parts to it. The first part is the hole at the top where the rainwater is going to be collected. This is designed to be up against a house, and the downspout pours right into this hole. Or they have downspout diverters that you can get to make it go right into that hole as well, however you want to do it. The second part is an overflow valve. This is so that you can control when your barrel gets full and it overflows. This is one where you can actually put a hose on and then divert that runoff where you want it, because generally the rain barrel is up against your house, and the overflow, we don't want it to go into your basement. So you put a hose on there so that you can direct where you want the overflow to go. And then lastly, you have to get something so you can get that rainwater out and use it. So we put a spigot, a valve like this on here. They have many different kinds of these, so you can just choose which one you like. But this one in particular, you can see you can put a hose on it and then just turn it on and turn it off to get your water out. So this barrel is like our sample barrel. It is a white opaque barrel, and we actually source these from car washes,
and they donated barrels for our past workshops, and they work great. The car washes get their soaps in these, and their soaps are environmentally friendly. So we wash them out, and you will want to wash your barrel out really good, especially after you cut the top hole. That makes it easier. And then rinse it out really good, and then even after you've washed it out, you would still get your a barrel all assembled and let the rain collect full barrel, and then let that first barrel completely out, and then start collecting again. So just letting that first barrel, collected barrel out helps clean it out just a little bit more. Like I said previously, if you can find a blue barrel like this, that would be ideal because then the algae problem wouldn't be an issue. But if you can't, that's perfectly fine too. But these do work really nicely. If you can't find a barrel like the white one or the blue one, and you don't know where to get those, you can just use a garbage can that you buy from a home improvement store. It works just the same. It has a lid that you can even take off, which is kind of nice, and then you can drill the holes just the same.
So now let's talk about how to actually make it. Now you've got a barrel from somewhere, and now you need to put all your parts together and get it going so that you can set it up and start collecting that rainwater. So again, you really only need to have 2 or 3 parts that you have to buy. You need to buy the valve to get the water out, the valve for the overflow, and then possibly a hose to attach to that. So then you'll want to start with cutting the hole in the top of the barrel. And think about where this barrel is going to be in relation to your house, and that's going to help you to decide where this hole is going to be. Generally speaking, you put it towards one side of the barrel so that the downspout can go right into the hole that you create. So the first thing you want to do is take your drill, and then you just get a regular, probably a 3/4 inch drill bit, good sized drill bit, and you put it in there and you just drill a hole, a starter hole, if you will. And that starter hole is so that then you can take your jigsaw and put the blade right into the hole and then cut your hole out for your downspout to go into. So again, drill a starter hole big enough for your jigsaw blade to go in, and then cut the hole out on the top of your barrel. Now you'll need to cut a hole for this, your overflow, and whichever size you get, then you'll want to get the corresponding tool to cut that hole. You could use a paddle bit like this, or what I recommend is one of these circle cutters that goes right into your electric drill, and then it cuts the hole, and these work really nicely, much more stable, especially when you're working with a barrel that rolls. What I like to do is put the barrel onto its side and actually sit on the barrel to hold it, kind of like riding a horse, and then you can drill this hole. You want to put it towards the top of the barrel because you don't want the overflow to come out, halfway down. You want to get as much rainwater as you can in that barrel, so your overflow is going to be towards the top of the barrel. When you're ready to drill the hole for your valve where you get the water out, generally the valve goes opposite your fill hole. So if you imagine that this is going to go right up against your house, obviously you want this valve to be accessible to get the rainwater out. Again, you could use a paddle bit, but what I would recommend again is one of these. This is just a smaller size. Get one that fits the size of your valve that you purchased. Again, sit on the barrel once you've put it on its side, stabilize it, and drill the hole. And then you just have to thread this valve in and this valve in. If you'd like to, you can definitely use some of this Teflon tape that you get in the plumbing section. You just wrap this around the threads of those valves, and then that helps to make sure that those don't leak at all. I would not recommend gluing or sealing these in place, because if something happens to your rain barrel and it cracks and you need to get rid of it, you would want to be able to get these parts back out so that you can reuse those in the next barrel. So I would not recommend sealing them or gluing them in. Also, you want to be able to clean your barrel after each season. And if things are glued in there and you can't take things apart and get them all clean, it makes it difficult. So you'll definitely want to not glue those in place. So now, once you've got your barrel parts and it's all assembled, we're going to talk a little bit about how to position the barrel and what you can do to make it work efficiently.
So once you have your barrel all completed and it's made and you're ready to get it working, you would put it in the location that you want, and then you would need to cut your downspout or put the downspout diverter on to get the rainwater to go into the barrel. And then to access the water that you've collected, you're going to want to raise the barrel up. And these are just a few examples of how you can raise it. I actually had mine behind the garage and I didn't really care what it looked like, so I just put it on concrete blocks. But you could use these nice landscaping blocks that they have here, or you could build a nice sturdy stand as well. You're just going to raise it high enough that you can put your watering can underneath there, or the higher you put it, the more gravity helps with a hose as well. If your rain barrel is going to be where some people can see it, like in the side of your house or the front of your house, then you might want to make it look a little nicer. And these are just a couple of examples of how you can hide or camouflage your rain barrel and make it look nice. These are just fence posts or fence slats tied around it. They've cut a hole for the faucet to come out, and then even putting flowers on top of it to make it look really pretty. Those are just a couple of examples. Another example is you could actually paint the barrels. Sometimes the plastic isn't really conducive for paint, but you can get special paint that actually adheres to the plastics, and then you can paint them however you would like to just make them look nicer as well. When you start collecting rainwater and you find that your 55-gallon barrel or your 50-gallon trash can just isn't enough for your water needs, then you can start thinking about how to link them together. And here's an example of two. They've just connected the overflows together so that when the first barrel is full, it overflows into the second barrel. So you're collecting 2 barrels worth of rainwater, and that may be sufficient for you. Or you could just let gravity be your friend and line up as many barrels as you can get and let gravity feed each barrel as it overflows. So this one shows 3 barrels all lined up and their overflows are going into each subsequent barrel. So that would work as well. Then when you really get addicted to rainwater catchment, you can go bigger. And you might be able to find any of these containers, and they have them connected to their gutter system in their whole house. But if you really need lots more water to collect, you can certainly go big. One final thing I wanted to talk to you about was how you can figure out how much rainwater you're actually going to collect. So you have this potentially 55-gallon barrel and you want to know how long is it going to take to fill this barrel up. There's actually a calculation that you can use to figure out how much rainwater you're going to collect in gallons. So the amount you're going to collect in gallons is equal to the square footage of your catchment area times the rainfall depth in inches times a conversion factor of 0.623. So I've created a little example to show you how this calculation works. Let's say I have a garage that is 30 feet by 40 feet, which equals 1,200 square feet of roof. I'm only collecting on the back half of that roof, so I'm looking at a catchment area of 600 square feet. Let's say we get 1 inch of rain, and then I multiply that by the conversion factor of 0.623, and I am actually collecting 373.8 gallons of rainwater on a 1 inch rainfall. So that actually is a lot of rainwater. It does not take very long to fill your 55-gallon barrel at all. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this tutorial. I do hope that you are able to make a rain barrel and that you can start collecting rainwater for use at your own home. Please feel free to email me at the library or call me if you have any more questions or concerns about this, or if you just want more information about how to make the rain barrel. I'm happy to help you in any way that I can. Thank you so much, and happy Earth Day.